Today I have a device that almost every content creator who makes videos is probably going to want to check out, and that's the Joby Wavo Plus on-camera shotgun mic. Now, before we get too much further into this video, I will say that I did not buy this microphone. It was sent to me for this review, and so I just want to be upfront and let you know that I did not pay the $200 to get this mic, but it is, after using it for several weeks, it is something that I would actually consider buying because it's just so good and it has several things built in that I think you're going to like. So before we get into the review of the features and how the microphone actually sounds, what comes in the box? First thing is there is a TRS to TRS cord. And you can tell this one apart from the TRRS to the TRS one because both 3.5 millimeter jacks on this one have just two black bands right there. Whereas the TRS to TRRS, number one of them is straight, one of them is bent, and there are three black bands on the TRRS. So little trick for you at home on identifying that. And then also included in the box are a USB-A to USB-C cord, as well as a USB-C to USB-C cord. And what I love about these is they're really long. Some of the other devices that I've bought recently and that I've received recently have had really short ones. One of them literally had, I think it was only about like 3 inches long. You know, what good is that? These are really intended because you can use this mic with a laptop, with a mobile device that uses that USB-C. So it's great to be that they give you these long enough cords to where you could put the mic up a little bit away from the computer. You could put it in different areas. So thank you, Joby, for considering those who use those different devices. And then obviously you get the microphone itself. So you've got your little foam piece, your little cover that comes over it. I will go ahead and mention this is one spot where I wish they had done a little bit more. I wish they had given you a dead cat, and maybe that's one of the packages you can get. This is good. It's great for everyday use, but obviously the dead cat comes into a lot better play when it's a little more windy, when there's a lot more action going on outside. So kind of wish they had it. They added a dead cat, but the good news is I have like 3 of them from other microphones that I've gotten. That is what it looks like without foam on it right there. Great directional microphone. We'll start with the back here. So it does have a power button, a dial that I'll get into, the USB-C jack as well. And that's actually an input and an output because that is where you can either charge the built-in battery or you can use the USB-C cords to go to your laptop, to go to another device that uses USB-A or USB-C. That way you don't have to use just a camera. So that has a couple different uses there. And then the 3.5 millimeter output jack, that's your main output jack there. So when you press the power button, you press and hold it, and then you'll see that a little green light has lit up. What's cool is on the front, there is another green light that has lit up as well, right there. And what I love about this is when you're vlogging, if you're a vlogging person, if you're in front of the camera, you see that green light and you know that it is going on, that it is turned on. You know that you have a charge, you know that you're getting your audio. So I really like that. Now coming around to this side of the microphone, hopefully you're able to see it. There is a switch here and then another 3.5 millimeter jack here. This switch here, I really am excited about this. It has a -10 dB, so you can do audio gain control. If things are just way too loud and you want to preserve that audio, like maybe you got too close to the microphone, something's going on, you can turn it down to preserve that audio and keep it from peaking too much. Or if you're in another situation, kind of like what I'm doing now. I'm in the house, my daughter's asleep, my wife is probably going to sleep soon. I probably should be talking a little bit softer. You can crank it plus 15 dB and get better audio in a softer setting. And then underneath that 3.5 millimeter jack down there, that is for headphones, that is for audio monitoring, which is, you know, really great. If you're not having to be in front of the camera, if you're behind, you can listen and make sure that things aren't going haywire. Speaking of that, this dial that I said I would get back to right here, that is for your audio monitoring. It goes from 0 all the way up to 5. And so you can kind of, you know, give yourself that audio so you can hear how it should sound when it comes out through somebody's speakers. And so on the other side of the microphone, you have a safe track switch as well as a low cut filter. And again, these are more ways to preserve the audio, to make sure that there's no humming below that 100 hertz that you could be listening to something going, that just doesn't sound right. Everything is about preserving that audio. Joby has done a really great job of giving you so many different tools built into one little package that goes on top of your camera. I guess the only other things to really consider are you do have your little plastic spinner here that locks it on top to a cold shoe. And then underneath is a 1/4 inch thread right there. So you can put this on top of a light stand all by itself, something off camera. You could use some of those male to male 1/4 inches, stick it on the side of a camera cage like I have on the R5, and it'll work that way. And so once again, this comes in at $200, which it's not cheap, but it's not, it's not break the bank expensive. It's not those $50, $20 cheapo microphones that you're probably going to be replacing really quickly. But you should really look at it as an investment. It is pretty on par with other microphones within this realm. And honestly, you're putting money into the camera already. You're putting money into lights. You need to put money into good audio. And I think that this is a great tool for those that are wanting to run and gun. So now that we've gone through all the features that I can think of with this microphone, I'm going to put it on the R5. I'm going to let you hear how it sounds here in my makeshift studio. I will switch on all the different switches so you can kind of maybe see what things sound like. I'm not going to run any filters over it. It's going to be just as it comes out of the microphone into the R5. All right, so this is test number 1 with the Joby Wavo Plus. It is on top of the R5. As you see, I've taken off the lapel. It is roughly 3 feet away from me here in a fairly controlled environment. None of the different switches are turned on. This is just as it would come out straight out of the box, talking as it goes right into the R5. And then this is test number 2. I have now turned the -10 dB on. It is the same distance away, roughly 2.5, 3 feet away. And I am talking the same level. I'm not talking any higher. I'm not talking any lower. I'm just trying to talk normal and letting you see how that sounds, letting you hear how that sounds, not see. And now going in the complete opposite direction, this is the +15 dB switch. So I took the switch from -10 all the way up to +15, not trying to talk any louder, not trying to talk any softer, just trying to give you a nice even sound so that you can compare what the stock was, the -10, and now the +15. So now I have put it back to 0. So the Joby Wavo Plus is now set at 0. So it's not the -10 and it's not the +15. But on the other side, I have turned on the safe track switch. So this is what it sounds like trying to, again, keep those highs, from peaking out too much, keeping the lows in a good spot. So this is that safe track switch, which is the topmost switch that looks like 2 bars. And so now this is the final switch. This is the low cut filter, which is that bottommost switch on my left, on the right if you are behind the camera. This is the low cut, which is supposed to help cut any of those random sounds like hums at below 100 hertz. So this is supposed to help, again, with preserving that audio, trying to make it to where your audio is as crisp, as clean as possible. This is now the -10 dB, the safe track, and then the low cut filter are all on. This is the safest audio, I guess you would say. Again, this is 2.5, 3 feet away from me. Talking, if I were to come a little bit closer for vlog style, obviously I would get a little bit louder, just simply because you want the distance from your mouth, from where you're producing the sound, to the microphone to be the smallest distance. Some people would want it to be, they'd probably put a boom mic like right here, just out of frame, to try and catch that audio a little bit better. But this is what it sounds like at about 3 feet away. I have to say that I'm pretty impressed with it. Like I said, it does better than several of the other shotgun mics I've owned by other companies. And for the price, again, I feel like $200 is not a stretch for something like this, just because you need good audio. You need to pay, you need to invest in your lighting. You need to invest in your audio. So $200, I think, is a great price for the Joby Wavo Plus. And I think that the audio that you heard kind of helps tell that tale. And obviously with a little bit of tweaking in Premiere, or if you use Audition or anything like that, you can obviously get it even better. And it'd be even better if I could, you know, mount it like right out of the camera right there. Like I said, I probably could just tape it to the blades of the fan that are above my head. But hopefully that my tests gave you a good idea of how this microphone can be used in a real world setting for those of us that can't afford C-stands and to have the microphone right there next to our mouth. But I want to hear from you. Let me know what you thought of the Joby Wavo Plus down in the comments. Let me know if you like Joby, if there's another company that you prefer. What do you look for in a microphone? Is it size? Is it, the audio quality? Is it the features that are included? Is it interchangeable batteries? What do you look for in a microphone for the content that you're creating? I want to hear from you. Drop that down in the comments. And if you like this video, please consider hitting that like button. I really do appreciate it as well. And I will catch you in another video.